I'm Realtor Deb Tomorrow, and this is At Home in Bloomington, brought to you by Karen Rastel, Ruoff Home Mortgage. We profile the people, places, and resources that make Bloomington, Bloomington, and help you live your best life. At Home in Bloomington. Hello and welcome to At Home in Bloomington. I am your host, Realtor Deb Tomorrow, here, as always, with the lovely Miss Karen Rastel, best damn lender in the state of Indiana. Hey, Deb. Hello. She is with Ruoff Home Mortgage. I feel like I don't say that enough. I should say that.
That's quite all right. Yes, Ruoff Home Mortgage.
So, as most people know, you don't know who our guest is, who's sitting in front of us today.
Not a clue.
Okay, well, it's not your husband, but we do love your husband, right?
Sometimes, yes.
Most of the time?
Okay, yes.
Does he listen to the show?
I don't think he does.
Okay, good. So we can say whatever we want about him?
Yes, we can.
So he's kind of, I'm going to get my point, you know how my points, they eventually get there.
Yes.
I eventually will get there. So he's sort of the king of money management, right?
Yes.
And as much as we poke fun at him for that and his spreadsheets and his budget meetings and all of that, household budget meetings, I do admire him immensely for that and dream of him like writing a budget for my house because...
I know. Right. If he ever retires, I think that's what he should go into.
But I know that you guys kind of, you have pretty strict budgets for Christmas gifts and for, vacations and for other things.
Yes.
So do you have a budget or does he have a budget for clothing?
Yes, we both do. We all do. The kids even.
Okay.
Yeah. Mine is higher than
well, that's good.
Than the men in my family.
Right. Mm-hmm. So with his clothing budget that he allots himself.
Yes.
Do you feel like he's got some style? Do you feel like he's kind of in a rut? He doesn't listen, so you can say whatever you want.
He would say he is on point with.
He would say that.
He would say because he talks like that. That he's on. He's with the times.
Okay.
But if you were to walk into our closet, there are those keepsakes that he just. I don't know what they're doing, and they look like the sweaters. There are sweaters from the 80s. You know what I'm talking about? Those bright. Like the ugly, they're not Christmas sweaters, but they could be if I put like
Bill Cosby?
Yeah.
Or Perfect Strangers? Belky? Perfect Strangers.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking like
that's a throwback. That's
a Huxtable sweater or like, yeah. But no, I think he could spruce it up a little bit if he wanted to.
Well, the reason I was asking was that I came across an article last week, and I don't know where I actually saw it, but about Prince Charles.
Okay.
Who, is someday going to be King of England, right?
Highly unlikely, but okay.
Well, that's true because she is going to live forever. But he is super thrifty. I don't know if you knew this. He has a pair of shoes that he wears still today from 1971. And there's, I saw a picture of him in this like hunting jacket that was covered with patches, but it was like a quality jacket. Okay. And he just sees no point in throwing these things out if they can be repaired.
Yeah, that sounds like Tony.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
See? Prince Charles. And I even read something where, he goes to, these unbelievable tailors in London and, to have his suits made. But they have boxes of any of the cast off, like extra fabric from the suits that they made. And they keep them labeled Prince Charles because he always wants things mended. Because he just doesn't believe in, he doesn't need a new suit every so often.
It just okay, I won't even go off my soapbox, but it just feels good sometimes to have a new suit or new jacket. Or
absolutely. Sometimes you just, But the point is that I think there is a balance between having new things and this, quality is economy.
Yes.
And I think that's an interesting concept, and that's what we're going to explore today.
Okay.
Any clue who we're...
No.
with the longest introduction on the face of the earth? This is Macey Dale of Andrew Davis Clothiers. Down at Fountain Square Mall.
Yes.
Right.
Well, what the funny thing is that our financial advisor and my husband are good friends, and he is always saying, you need to get Tony down there. And I'm like, we got to like tag team on this because it's just not going to happen. He's not going to just willingly go himself. So I think Chris and I would have to drag him in there.
So maybe that is a topic of conversation. One of the questions we can ask is if you do have a husband who's a bit reluctant, how do you get him in there? But anyways, Macey, welcome.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And what is your role at Andrew Davis?
Sometimes I just say I fix problems, make sure everyone's taken care of. I guess if you want to be technical, managing partner.
Okay.
It's founded by my mentor and business partner, Andy Mallor, 12 years ago. I've been with the team for 11 now.
Oh, so you've been there most of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. He approached me when he first opened, but I had some other commitments at that point. So, yeah, we've been going at it for a while now, and Yeah, everything's clicking along.
And so the founder, Mr. Mallor, is an attorney.
Yes.
So this is sort of his second career. Like he has time for a second
this is his
career.
Passion. He definitely works 2 full-time jobs. He has the law office, Mallor Grodner, here in town, as well as their office in Indianapolis. And then we have Andrew Davis there on the south side of the square, as you mentioned, in Fountain Square. And he usually stops by a couple times a day, and most of the day on Saturdays. And
so he is really involved.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Wow.
Yeah. It's really his passion. Yeah.
That's impressive. So, so Andrew Davis has been around for 12 years.
Yeah, 12 years, first week of October coming up.
And what was the thought process behind him? I mean, why did he start it?
For Andy, it's always been clothing's just been a passion of his. His first job was selling women's swimsuits at the age of 14, and then moved from New Jersey to Indiana to go to school here for undergrad, and then from there law school, where he met his wife Jane, and she taught business law at the business school for many years. Retired a few years ago, and he started his own firm. I want to say in his late 20s. Here, and then always had a passion for clothing. He's owned J.R. Stallsmith, along with J.R. Stallsmith, a financial advisor here in town, for many years. After they split ways, he had a store in Fort Wayne called Andrew Davis Clothiers, and then we opened up this store here in Bloomington, like I said, going on about 12 years now, and eventually sold the Fort Wayne store to the general manager. It's been rebranded Christopher James Menswear.
And how is it different? I mean, if you were to just sort of in a couple of sentences, or take as long as you want, but how is it different than shopping at a Macy's or someplace like that?
I mean, I think it's a totally different atmosphere and vibe the moment you walk in. You were mentioning that your husband Tony, it'd be tough to get him down there. Well, when someone comes in, the first thing that I tell our folks is they're walking into your home, so treat them accordingly. Offer them something to drink: water, Coke, beer. Let me get your coat for you.
Do you have bourbon? Because that would get Tony in the shop.
Of course we have bourbon, yes.
Well, there you go. Done.
Yeah. Mental note. Things he would never know. He wouldn't know that.
Of various different levels, whatever his taste might be. So the biggest thing for us is, I know that a lot of guys don't like to shop, but I think that's because it's not fun and it's not made to suit their purposes. I always tell them, you can be involved in this as you want. I need you to go in the dressing room, try a few pieces on for fit. And then if you want to be involved in us picking the colors and putting together the ensembles and all that, you can. Or sit there and drink a beer and watch the game. And, when we need you, we'll say, hey, pop over for a minute. I have some clients that live out of state that I haven't seen in 5-6 years. And they just say, Macey, I need some outfits for this fall. We'll box up some outfits, put them together, send them out with a return label, and they send back whatever doesn't work for them. It's just, in this day and age, you really just need to make it convenient. I always say we have to be easier than click, click, click.
Yeah.
When someone goes online.
Right. I was wondering that. How have you changed over the years to compete with, because there are services that kind of offer what you were saying, that, they send you stuff and you try it on and you send it back, but it's not, they say it's personal, but they've never met you in person.
Yeah. And that's the difference. Like if you walk into Andrew Davis, 3 times today, I've already heard, I'm around the corner working on a few things. Someone walks in and goes, hey, is Macey here?
Right.
Like, oh, yeah. No, he's just right around there. And then they're like, hey, I'm like, no problem. Here's your size. Boom, boom, boom. I know it all because I've worked with them so much.
Right.
Right before I came here, I was working with someone. One of our clients' wives walked in. And so because we know everything about what they need, I just leaned back. Stephanie, our fantastic back office manager, would you grab stuff for John Tully? Sorry, I shouldn't use full names. Yeah. John and David back there and bring it up. And I think there might be something for Garrett as well. And she brings it right up. Those guys never actually came in to get any of that stuff. Just Cheryl and I worked on it because we already know what they like, what their sizes are. And like I said, they can just be as involved as they want to in the process. And when you come in, you're always greeted by a little fluffy puppy as well.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I know. I should have brought her with.
Oh, tell me about the puppy.
Her name's Piper. She's a miniature golden doodle. And so she comes to work every day and hangs out, just spreads the love to everyone.
So basically, if I'm ever downtown and need a puppy fix,
See,
I know where to go now.
Puppies and bourbon. I mean,
right?
I'm just going to be like, Tony, let's go for a walk.
Yeah, puppies
downtown.
and bourbon
And
done.
then the clothing takes care of itself.
Right.
Yeah, we have something to keep the ladies there and something to keep them in there.
The dog is for the ladies.
Oh, if you've seen how many college girls I've seen
I
dragging their
bet.
dads. I want to see the puppy. Yeah,
I
dragging them into the
know.
store.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's amazing. So have you always been into fashion? Is that always been something that's your thing? I want to kind of learn a little bit about your evolution so that we can learn about it and helping our men maybe. Not that, I mean, there are a lot of men out there who are, I think men are more interested in how they look than we give them credit for. But they just don't know how to go about it.
I'm like, I know people can't see me, but I'm like making all these like faces. I'm about to say things. And I don't know. I think
He doesn't listen to the show.
I know,
you can
but
say
I
whatever
feel
you want.
like I'm speaking for him, and then I'm just going to assume every, average aged married man. I feel like he just thinks like, I don't have time to go and do all of this. And the idea of having to try on clothes and all of that. But I'm telling you, his friend has been a big proponent to get him in there. And my whole thing is, as a business person, I'm like, I want you to be put together like head to toe. And not always, but, it's not like have a tuxedo in the back of the closet, but, having things that fit your body type that you didn't just buy off the rack. Yeah, I know he's not going to be listening to this. It's just more convenient for him to go somewhere else, like Macy's or something, and just pick something. Go, oh, yeah, that's...
But, and I want to say, too, and we'll let our guests talk, but we're going to talk for a while. Having clothes that fit you properly is a huge comfort thing that I don't think people understand. But when you wear things that don't fit you, whether they're too big, because then they're slipping around, or they're too tight and you feel constricted, when you have something like a suit that fits you properly, you don't mind wearing it.
There's
all the
nothing, I know we're getting off topic here, not really, but there's nothing better than a nicely dressed man.
Well, I would agree with that too.
Period.
If you need some eye candy, I highly recommend you go to the Andrew Davis website because it's quite enjoyable to look at. All I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay,
to your point right there, though, 100%. If he does go to Macy's, I see this all the time. Guys buy a dress shirt that's the right size neck in the store, and then they leave the store and they take it down to the cleaners. Like we use Kinzer cleaners because they do a fantastic job for us, and it shrinks about 3/8 of an inch over time. So when you have someone at Macy's that doesn't have an ownership stake in Macy's.
Sure, they don't care if you come back or not.
Exactly, yeah, no. But in the store, I'll say, all the time I hear, I hate wearing a tie. I go, well, is it because your neck feels a little constricted over time? No, every time, yes. I go, you're buying the shirt the right size at the moment. It's shrinking 3/8 of an inch. And then you don't like wearing a tie because you're literally are wearing a noose around your neck when you button that top button. And that's the type of stuff where we're there to educate men, make them look their best, put them in stuff they're comfortable in, go into what you were saying about fit. And also, I think guys, a lot of times they don't want to make fashion faux pas, and sometimes that keeps them from shopping because they don't know where the style is, what they should be wearing. And I think we do a really nice job of asking questions. That's the first thing I tell our guys when they come in after they, make sure that they're greeted properly, get something to drink for them and stuff is, tell me about what you're looking for. Ask a lot. We don't just start showing clothing right away. What do you do? Where do you travel?
Yeah, that's my pet peeve. If you walk into a certain place and they're just automatically, here, let me show you this. Because they think that's, I don't know.
Right. They're sort of doing a quick judgment instead of getting to know you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to come back to my question to put you on the spot because I do want to know, have you always been into fashion? Is this something that you evolved into?
It was definitely an evolution for me. Actually, my family owns Harvest Moon Flower Farm out in between Ellettsville and Spencer.
Yeah.
So I grew up on a flower farm. My dad was a contractor here in town. And so, I grew up swimming a hammer, working on the farm. Was a counselor at Camp Palawopec in Nashville for, I don't know, somewhere over a dozen years. Wow. And so growing up, I wasn't around fashion too much. I enjoyed clothing, but I didn't participate in it very much. It was really when I met Andy that I really got into the clothing business. I'll never forget when I first, he asked me to join the team for a full year every time he saw me until I said yes. And then when I did, I said, I don't know that much. I didn't go to school for this. And he said, Macey, you know people. I can teach you clothing. I can't teach you people.
Right.
And so I said, all right, well, let's go to school then. Yeah.
So is fashion, one of the things we had mentioned a few minutes ago was that, there are these businesses who put together boxes and send them to you. And Eurus has done that a few times. And I feel like, does this chick really know him? And where is she? Because I feel like fashion is a little bit different in the Midwest. And even in Bloomington, we had another tangent here. We had an agent come to our office, and he's gone. He's moved away since, but 10 or 12 years ago. And he came from the East Coast, and he showed up with his suit and pocket square and the whole thing. And we were all kind of like, oh, okay, because we don't see a lot of that around here. And it was always nice to see, but it kind of made us laugh at first because we're like, oh, we're in Indiana, So is fashion different, and is it important to have someone that kind of understands that?
It certainly is, from coast to coast. And even the main reason we parted ways with the Fort Wayne store is because 2.5-hour drive away,
really? They
were looking for different sizes and different styles in Fort Wayne than we were in Bloomington. So to your point, it's definitely different from one geographical location to the next. Yeah. But each individual wants a different sense of style for the most part as well. And that's where having someone that has your back and is looking to have a long-term relationship with you, where they're taking care of not just your clothing, but I consider a very large portion of our clients friends as well, and find myself texting with them about many other things other than just clothing or whatnot when I see them out in the community. The Bloom party.
Rachel was at the Bloom party
Tuesday,
the other night.
It's just like such a congregation of wonderful Bloomington people that I always joke I never get a bite to eat there, even though Malcolm has like the most amazing spread of food ever, because I'm just saying hello to all these people that I love and care for in our community.
So do you ever wear sweatpants out in the community?
I will to Kroger occasionally.
Really?
Absolutely.
I won't.
Now I'm a company man.
Yeah.
So they look good.
So they're good sweats.
Yeah.
Sweats that fit.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No.
All right.
There's a time and a place for everything.
Right? I think I left the house once, like last year, and I was like, I'm not going to put eyeliner on. And I had to get home. I couldn't do it. Yeah, because I'm kind of the same way in real estate. I always joke and say if I would need to do an event to reconnect with my clients, I just go to the grocery store.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they're all there. But then I always feel like I need to kind of look on point, or else I put my sunglasses on and I don't take them off and I pretend that I'm invisible.
My mom always said, you can never leave the house not put together. And I'm thinking, and now, we know my mom now, but I was like, I said, why? She goes, you never know who you're going to meet, who you're going to run into. And I thought, I don't care. I don't have time. Or, I just need to get to the store or whatever. And she was always like, she's like, you need to always put yourself together. And I thought,
the point is you can go to Andrew Davis and you can learn how to put yourself together, but in a not overly, you can do it high end, from the tuxedos all the way to the more casual, comfortable, just, hanging out on a Saturday, right?
I always say, we have everything from socks and underwear to custom tuxedos. Anything in between you're looking for. We really want to be this place where a guy goes to get all of his stuff.
Right.
Yesterday, right at the end of the day, one of my clients came walking in the door. He drives up from Columbus whenever he needs to shop. Next weekend, I have a client from Pittsburgh that's driving over to see us there at the store. There's plenty of other places they could go.
Yeah.
But thankfully, they choose to come see us, and I guarantee it's because of the relationships and how we take care of them.
Right.
And then when it comes to the comfort level of things, you see the world is becoming more casual. We're adapting to that as we go along.
Yeah.
Not everyone's wearing a suit every day, like you mentioned, the gentleman from the East Coast that came in 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different look. I'm finding it's more fun because on the sportswear side of things, it's not put a suit on, put a white shirt on.
There's more color and pattern and some, our friend Scott Disick from the Kardashians. No, not
Lord.
Scott.
The Lord.
Well, Scott, but Rob Kardashian had a sock line.
Oh, he's still, or he
I
doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows what he's doing anymore, except avoiding lawsuits. But anyways, do you have bow ties?
Yes, absolutely.
And
just
can you
picked out 30
teach someone how to tie a bow tie?
Okay, so one of the things at the store is when I hire someone, I make sure that they learn to tie a bow tie. Because I do it about 2 times a year. Yeah. So yes, in answer to your question,
someone can.
But it takes a minute for me to remember that last step every time.
I think that's huge. I was unfortunately at a funeral a few weeks ago, and this friend of mine was wearing a bow tie, and it was because it was his father's and it was the funeral, and he wanted to kind of honor his father. But it was a village to help him, and it was like so important to him to tie that bow tie. And I kept thinking, where would you go? Where would you learn that? Except YouTube,
Well,
but wouldn't it be better if you had someone in person?
It would have been, yes, because I can't remember. Tony wore a bow tie to an event we went to, a fundraiser we went to. When I met now I'm drawing a blank. It was a derby themed. Okay. But anyways, I met like someone I idolize.
Yeah.
But anyway, we were like, how do we do this? And so I kept pausing YouTube and like, okay, but we could have just
gone in for bourbon, puppies, and bow ties.
Yeah.
You certainly could have. Or you could have gone to www.andrewdavisclothiers.com, checked out our blogs, where you will find a tutorial, including a video on how to tie a bow tie.
Perfect.
That's
great
awesome.
information.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I've got lots more questions, and I'm going to share how their website forced me to consult the dictionary twice. I learned 2 new words. So it's educational as well. So we'll be right back. You're at home in Bloomington.
Hi, this is Karen Rastel with Ruoff Home Mortgage. Did you know one of the most underutilized loan programs is a Veterans Administration loan? Whether you're active duty or retired, you may be eligible for a VA loan with no mortgage insurance and no down payment. It's an honor to assist veterans who have served our country. To see if you qualify for this incredible option, contact me today at 812-606-7653. Ruoff Home Mortgage is an Indiana corporation licensed by the Indiana Department of Financial Institutions. This is not an offer for extension of credit or a commitment to lend. All loans must satisfy company underwriting guidelines. Equal housing lender. NMLS number 141868.
This is your Real Estate Real List. Real advice on buying and selling real estate based on my experience closing over 800 home sales. For most of us, credit scores are a necessary evil if we want to own a home. Understanding how credit scores are calculated can go a long way to empowering you to improve your score. The better your score, the more and better financing options you have. Here are 5 factors that go into calculating your score. Number 1, your payment history makes up about 35% of your overall credit score. This means late payments. Number 2, 30% of your credit score is your utilization rate. It's how much credit you have available compared to how much you are using. Number 3, 15% of your score is based on the length of your credit history. Number 4, 10% of your score comes from your mix of types of credit you have successfully managed. And number 5, new credit accounts and inquiries are responsible for another 10% of your credit score. If your credit score needs help, the most important thing to know is that time can heal and every day matters. Paying your bills on time, not maxing out all your credit cards, and not getting new credit cards just to get that 10% discount at Kohl's are all actions that will help improve your credit score and financing options. For more information on credit scores, listen to my Real Estate Today podcast, episodes 34, 35, and 36 for anything you ever wanted to know about credit, from what's a FICO to the legitimate resources available to improve your credit situation. You can find the podcast on my website, YouTube channel, and iTunes.
My name is Joe Reinhardt, and Deb Tomorrow is my realtor. Deb helped us to sell a property that we had previously listed for which we were unable to even generate an offer. Deb's responsiveness, professionalism, and her aggressive marketing strategy led to multiple full-price offers for our listing. And that's why I think Deb should be your realtor too. And now, back to the show.
Welcome back to At Home in Bloomington. Thanks for listening. Before we get back to our guests, I want to do a little bit of a throwback because this is also one of our previous guests. Show, episode 7 is also located on the square, which is Gather.
Yes.
So if you're a female and you're taking a male partner down, husband, whatever, to Andrew Davis, then take yourself over to Gather and do a little shopping there. They've got some really cool artisan gifts and things like that. So wanted to just kind of promote other businesses down on the square that we've had on the show. So that's episode 7 of At Home in Bloomington. You can find that on www.athomeinbloomington.com. But let's get back to, because this has been very eye-opening, and I think for Karen.
Yeah,
I'm throwing your husband under the bus.
I mean, the joke is in all these podcasts is that every time we have a guest on here and it's like this hidden gem, and I've been here for almost 30 years, I'm like, I didn't know that exists, and we need to go down there. Like, this truly is something that I would definitely take him down there. I mean, we're always downtown.
Right.
Like, why aren't we stopping in there?
When are you guys open?
We are open actually Monday through Friday from 10 to 6, Saturday from 10 to 5, and Sunday from 12 to 5.
Okay.
I always tell people as well, though, those are just hours on the door. We're open by appointment. We're available as needed. So you can always call the store, 812-323-7730, or reach out to us through our website, andrewdavisclothiers.com, and get a hold of us through there to set up something. If you need special time to come and see us, we're more than happy to accommodate that.
That's awesome. So you can have, go down, check it out, and then go have some dinner. A little Sunday brunch, a little shopping.
I'm telling you, we went to see a show at the John Waldron Arts Center, and before the show started, Chris was he's like, we need to run in here really quick. And I remember Tony thinking, oh, I know what he's trying to do, because he's been on him for years.
Right.
Just to spruce it up a little bit.
No, and to your point, another one of Chris's friends, Jerry, he's a veterinarian down south. And he's a busy guy. He's got a bunch of other stuff going on. And I'm meeting with him around 5 o'clock this evening. But he speaks at conferences. So, he's been out with cows literally all day, working out there in the fields. And he comes in, looking like he's been working in the fields all day. He's going to get treated the exact same as someone that comes walking in a 3-piece suit.
Right.
And him and I have developed such a great relationship. And he feels and looks great for these conferences now, because he's got a style consultant that can show him how to wear things, hang out with them, also can relate to growing up on a farm.
Right. So one of the words I had to look up when I was doing my research, I guess I'm not embarrassed to say I really didn't know this word. I'd seen it before, but didn't really understand what it meant, was sartorial. So you refer to yourselves as sartorial advisors. And I'm like, is that like, I don't know. It just sounded to me, it was like a combination of editorial and sarcastic, which is not at all what it is. It just, means someone relating to how you dress. So instead of like, that's my clothing advisor, you sound fancier when you say sartorial advisor. So maybe Tony would be
all about
the fancy words.
Absolutely.
So do you think he is resistant because he thinks that it is fancy, or that it's maybe, a little pretentious to go in there?
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's more of a twofold. Money. Why are you nagging me? I don't think I don't know. I mean, he is very fiscally conservative.
Right.
I will put that out there, and everyone knows that. But at the same time, like, he is one of those people that he just doesn't spend any extra on himself.
Right.
So,
Macey, do you think that there are people that maybe don't come into the shop because they're a little intimidated, or they just feel like, it's, I don't know, for fancy people only?
Yeah, no, I think that absolutely is the case. And I think that so many people have come into the store and realized it's the exact opposite almost immediately when they come in, or at least I hope they do. I certainly feel that we make it feel like you're walking into our living room, and regardless of what's in your checking account and what you're looking for, you're going to get us asking questions, looking to find what's best for you. We might not fit every single budget, but I think we're there for more budgets than people think of. Off air, you were mentioning to me earlier, economy is quality.
Right.
And that's so true. If you go and you buy a suit that's $300 and you get 1 year's wear out of it, okay, well, what if you bought a suit that was $600 and you got 5 years wear out of it?
Right.
You're coming out average wearing much, much better over time. And you're going to be much happier the first day you're wearing it and 5 years later when you're wearing it than you would have been with the original piece.
Because I'm sure the less expensive suits, probably the fabric's not as high quality. They probably stretch out, and after a while they don't fit anymore and kind of get droopy in the shoulders. And there's nothing worse than long sleeves on a suit. It just looks awful.
No, it actually, you just made me think of, I have a client in Greenwood, and he owns 2 businesses, and for years, he's probably about 5'8", I'd say. And I'd see him at functions, and his coats would be so long. And he's a budget guy. I thought of it because, yes, his family, when they go on vacation, they've got their budget. They stick exactly to it. It's all done on spreadsheets before they leave the house. So totally relating to what you're saying there, Karen. But I said, Chris, we need to step this up. You've got 2 businesses that you're running, and you simply don't look the part. Why are you doing that? And he's just, it's because I've always done. and because it's easy and it doesn't cost much. And I said, well, can we do one coat and one shirt for you? Because, our suits off the rack, we have some options at $298, predominantly $698, $898 are most popular price points on suitings. Sport coats start a little bit lower than that. But we can do bespoke, fully made to you, tailored with all your specifications, 40 measurements, pick out your lining, have as much fun. Now we say, make as many decisions as you'd like to or would not like to. We can make the rest of them for you. So we did a couple pieces for him. And when I checked back in with him a couple months later, he's like, Macey, I feel so much better when I'm speaking in front of people. They feel better. And now, having worked with them for about 3 years now, he's going, man, these still feel like they did the first day I got them. The other stuff, I take the cleaners a couple times.
Right.
And to what you were saying, Deb, a lot of those were what's called fused garments, not to get too technical, but they're glued on the inside. So they look great when you walk out the store. Taking the cleaners, they clean them, that glue starts separating. What we're always looking for is the highest quality we can at each price point. And we want to be there for as many guys as we can. And that's just sort of how we go about our business. The suits that I'm mentioning we have at $298, they have an MSRP on them of $798.
Oh, wow.
Now, Men's Warehouse, anyone? That's, Josue Banks, that's what they're going for.
Right.
Not to name names, won't name names. But that's their entire business strategy is they're going to put a suit out that should cost $298 for $798 and then sell it to you for $298 and tell you that you got a $800 suit.
Crazy deal. And, I think one of the things, too, when we talk about the quality is that these are suits that you can wear. You don't have to have a huge wardrobe. I've always kind of joked and said, I'm quantity over quality. I like to have, I'll buy cheap stuff just to have like a big variety. But I think as I'm getting older, I really do like the quality pieces and find that, you don't have to, or you can wear them fairly regularly. You don't need 30 suits. You don't need a suit a day. So to point back to my British royal family ties, the suit that Prince Charles wore to Harry and Meghan's wedding, he wore a week later when they had a party for his 70th birthday. And everybody was like, is that the same suit? And Kate Middleton wears the same, she will rewear things as well. So that's sort of becoming the trend. And so I think that's what you can do with the nicer suits.
No, absolutely. And the nice thing about men's clothing is you generally get what you pay for. There's some name brands out there that you're paying for a lot of their advertising dollars. But I mean, with denim, for example, say a $70 pair of denim. Well, our denim runs $178 to $248 on most of what we have there in the store. But what people don't know, there's twice as much cotton that's weaved into those. So they're going to last 2-3 times as long. So you're getting something on the front end that's going to last so much longer, to your point, and be more comfortable from day one.
Right. Interesting. So before you were talking and used the other word I had to look up in the dictionary, I didn't really have to look it up, but I did because I wanted to understand it a little bit more. We've started to see this word more and more with, again, royal family. I'm a big fan. So, we follow the fashion trends. I know, right? So bespoke is something that I don't remember seeing that word much up until a few years ago, and now we're starting to see it. And it's sort of just another word for custom, I guess, or how would you describe it?
Yeah, there's varying levels of custom clothing. So the way we refer to clothing generally, and once again, we do everything from the most casual clothing guys can wear up to suits and tuxedos. You have off-the-rack suits and sport coats and such. Made to measure, which is where they take a stock size, like say a 40 regular coat. It's made from scratch to your specifications, changing the sleeve length, the length of the coat, putting your own lining in it, things of that nature. And then also there's bespoke. Bespoke is where they're cutting a pattern for you exclusively, and then that is your pattern.
It's like spec homes and custom homes.
Yeah, absolutely.
In real estate world.
No, that's a perfect way of putting it. Because, you can, if you say, you know what, I'm a normal body type. Yeah. I just want something that's a little bit unique for myself.
You can pick out your flooring, you can pick out your countertops, but that's your configuration, basically.
Exactly.
But a bespoke is completely custom. If you wanted 3/4 length sleeves, please don't do that. But, you could do that, right?
No, absolutely, yeah. And if you always ran into fit issues, we're going to put a few coats on you throughout it, but we're going to be measuring your biceps and your chest and your overarm and all of those things. So a bunch
of different measurements.
Yeah, absolutely. So it really is cut for you for each person to be unique because we have different body types.
And then who makes those suits? Do you have a tailor somewhere?
Well, we have a tailor that works with us. She drops by twice a day and then works out of her home where she has her office. Then in terms of where things are made, honestly, all over the globe. We work with Hickey Freeman in Rochester, New York, Samuelson Clothing in Montreal, Jack Victor Clothing in Montreal. We have overseas vendors as well in several different countries that make garments for us. We try to go American-made as much as we can, though there's less and less manufacturing here in the States. Still, the majority of our denim is made in the United States. So it's really, literally all over the globe, the different manufacturing sources that we use for our products.
And then you'd mentioned you offer tuxedos, and you have tuxedo rental too, right?
Yeah, you know what? That's something that I find quite a bit, that a lot of times our clients have been clients for years. They won't realize that we do tuxedo rentals. And I see a lot of brides and their fiancés coming over in the last few years that have visited some of the big box stores here in town and been less than impressed with their selection of items that end up coming and seeing us. So yes, we do a very large rental business for weddings. And I think we had 3 or 4 weddings this past weekend that we took care of. And once again, where you're going to get that's different from going to one of the big box stores on that is someone that really cares. 11 years in, I've never dropped the ball on someone's wedding. We've had people arrive at their venue and realize that they don't know how to tie a bow tie quite as well as, and they call the shop. Boom. One of our guys is over there at the wedding venue 30 minutes later, tying the bow ties for everyone, making sure their pocket squares are good. Like, we really care. We're a family-owned business. I consider, when I walk out on the street, people go, Macey from Andrew Davis.
Right.
And I had a good experience. And weddings are very important. So what we do a lot of is oftentimes, I always say photos are for forever. The bride spends X on a dress.
Right.
She most likely isn't going to wear a whole lot moving forward.
Right.
The groom, sometimes they're very involved, which is great. Sometimes they're less involved, which is fine as well. That's why we're there to help guide them and find the right solution for them. What I've been finding a lot recently, we'll put the groom in something off the rack or custom made for him. And we can do cool little details, the date behind the collar or their name in the inside, surprise her with a few little details the day of the wedding. So we'll do something off the rack or custom for the groom. And then for the groom's men, we'll do rentals, which our prices are like everyone else's. They just come with the family touch of having people actually care. Right. I remember one guy, he told us he was an 11 and a half, shows up Saturday morning. He's definitely a 13.
Oh my gosh.
The rental company's in Anderson. One of our guys needs to get in the car, drive to Anderson, need to be at the wedding venue by 2, get him back in there. Made it happen for him. That's the difference between shopping with Andrew Davis and shopping with someone else. And you'll find that our prices are what prices should be. We either use the MSRP or we price it exactly where it should be to keep the doors open. Yeah.
So being in a college town, I wonder if you get a lot of the soon-to-be graduates or, doing job interviews, and I've got to start to step up my wardrobe because a college wardrobe, very, very different than, your first job out there. So what would you recommend would be like the initial pieces that someone should get started with if they're sort of making that transition?
No, that's an excellent question, Deb. Thanks for asking it. It is a changing world out there in terms of what the expectations are in every area in terms of dressiness level. Traditionally, I would say it would be a navy or gray suit as your first piece, then a blazer as well, most likely in navy. Someone on a budget could find a navy suit that could double as a blazer, and then get a sport coat that they could wear with the navy trousers to complement as well. Crisp white shirt, light blue shirt. I know these are boring staple items, but they are staple items. They'll give you so much more flexibility down the road as you're building onto that. I always say once you have 2 great suits in the closet, a couple great sport coats, a couple pairs of trousers, a few shirts, then if you see that wild shirt that you freaking love, we can work it back to the other pieces that are already in your closet and make something that looks nice and fun for, say you've got a summer wedding instead of a job interview. You can wear that navy suit, but then put a nice floral pattern shirt underneath it, fun tie for, paisley tie for celebration, and out the door you go.
Right. That's great advice. I sometimes wonder, I guess, I used to be in the corporate world and now I haven't been for so long. So I'm like, what do people wear to offices? I don't know. Because I feel like casual Friday can be every day.
Yeah. And you know what I tell people when they're going for an interview now? We ask so many more questions now beyond just like about how the environment's going to be. I encourage college guys or high school, whoever's going in for an interview with a company, ask questions about what sort of the wardrobe is, because it's so different than maybe it was just 5 years ago.
Right.
But I always say it's really easy to slip a tie off. You walk into a room and everyone has a tie on but you, and you're the new guy.
Yeah.
It's, you're going to be a little self-conscious about it. But I also joke that pocket squares are the new ties.
Right.
Today that this is a podcast, so we don't have the video of it, but I'm open collar today.
Right.
I still love putting a suit on once a week. It just feels good.
Yeah.
Like you were mentioning, you put on a crisp white shirt,
right,
and walk out the door, and it's just a nice feel. But things are definitely more casual, and that's something we're helping coach a lot of guys through that have maybe been dressing the other way for many years.
How to be casual but not sloppy.
Yeah, and they want just some pointers along the way, and it's a totally different world for them, and the fits have changed. And finding that right balance of moving them forward in style, but keeping them comfortable to their own ideals is something you'll get when you come into Andrew Davis, because we'll be really doing it for you with our advice.
Awesome. So thank you so much for joining us today. I think eye-opening, right? And
definitely.
Karen's going to be in to visit the puppy and get some bourbon.
Yeah, well, I'll come in there. I'll be getting the bourbon with him.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I love this. This is a local business. It's not a big chain. It's something we should support. You guys are working hard to stay on top of the trends, and not just trends by the word trendy, but just the way that society changes and the way that dress changes, and providing options for all of those points.
Yeah. And I definitely just like the idea that it's I don't know how many employees are down or working with you during the hours that you mentioned earlier, but it's almost like the way you've been talking, that your entire client base, they probably feel like they're your only client. And that's definitely a warming feeling to have, to be like, oh, I've got this event coming up or this big job interview, and I've got like my own personal stylist here in Bloomington that's going to help me out.
And you said that, maybe one of the reasons that your husband, Tony, hasn't gone down that route is because maybe he feels like he doesn't quite deserve it, or he doesn't budget that, money for him. And I think the point I want to leave people with today is that you do deserve that kind of service. It's here in Bloomington, and you should take advantage of it. So thank you so much.
Oh, Karen, Deb, thank you for having me. Really do appreciate it.
And we will be back with another episode. You are at home in Bloomington.
Got a show idea? I'd love to hear it. And be sure to contact me for all your real estate needs and questions too. You can email me at deb@realrealestatetoday.com and follow me on Facebook at Deb Tomorrow Realtor. To contact Karen Rastel for all your mortgage needs, call 812-606-7653 or log on to ruoff.com and go to the Bloomington Center. Thanks to all the Bloomington people who make production of At Home in Bloomington possible. Special thanks to superstar producer Rachel G. Gregorio, digital guru Cynthia Hogan at Monster Digital Marketing for website design and hosting, and video genius Wes Lasher in the production house for engineering the show.